Herman's not going to be here.
Dave's not going to be
Zach said he's going to be here. He might be a few minutes late because he's got an appointment. What's that?
I feel like a little person in this chair. I was like,
Well, you kind of are.
I realize I'm old as I'm driving in here, and I'm thinking, I hate driving at night. And then I'm old.
All right, it's 7 o'clock, so we're going to call our meeting to order. Please rise and join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. Madam Clerk, may I have the roll call, please?
Yes. Mike Cunningham.
Here.
Jennifer Eden. Here. Kurt Schultz.
Here.
Pam Mockler. Here.
I don't have any changes to the agenda, so entertain a motion.
So moved.
Support.
It's been motioned and supported to approve the agenda as presented. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Next is approval of the consent agenda. Board and Planning Commission joint meeting minutes from January 17th, 2023. Treasurer's report, January 31st, 2023. Clerk's warrants and bills, February 15, 2023.
So moved.
Support.
It's been motioned and supported to approve the consent agenda as presented. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Next, communications. We have 3. We have the Livingston County Sheriff's Report, December 31, 2022. The Livingston County Sheriff's Report, January 31, 2023. And the Planning Commission meeting synopsis, February 14, 2023.
So moved.
Support.
It's been motioned to receive and place on file communications 1 through 3. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries. Next is public remarks. This is the opportunity to talk about anything on the agenda. You have 3 minutes. Anybody would like to make public comment, please come up and have a seat. Okay, being that there's none, we move on to unfinished business. We have no unfinished business. We move on to new business. The audit contract approval. We are mandated by state law to audit every year. We received a couple of bids on this. Our same audit company was the low bid. They've done a great job for us. Pretty seamless. The amount is a 5-year contract for $73,520. The other bid was for $92,600.
This is the second year of it, right?
Correct.
Okay. Well, when it,
We actually approved 1 year because we didn't know what we were going to do. So
Right.
now we have to do the remaining, the total amount, 73 for the 5 years.
So we're approving the remaining 4 years then?
Correct.
Okay.
So
This
that would
is
be
a
like-
resolution?
would be,
It would be a resolution.
Okay. Then so resolved to accept the contract for the remaining 4 years as listed.
With Gabbard. Because there's 2 there.
average company, yes.
Yeah, okay.
I'll second.
It's been motioned and support, it's been resolved and supported to approve the contract with Gabbard for audit services. Any further discussion? Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call vote, please?
Yes. Kurt Schultz.
Yes.
Mike Cunningham.
Yes.
Jennifer Eden. Yes. Pam Mockler. Yes.
Moving on to item number 2, poverty exemption adoption. Every year we have to, by resolution, adopt poverty exemptions for you can see that you've got printed your chart, you can see that it goes up to as much as $46,000 for a family of 8. If you're a single family, it's $13,590. I think we've issued,
We only have one right
we have one. I think the most we've ever issued is 2.
Are the guidelines state guidelines or is that?
Excuse me, one meeting, please. I'm sorry?
I ask if the guidelines listed for the tax year are federal or state?
They're federal guidelines.
Federal, okay.
Any other questions? Comments? I'll entertain the motion.
I resolve that we accept the establishment of the guidelines for granting of poverty exemptions for 2023 for Tyrone Township.
now. I'll support.
Been resolved and supported to adopt the listed poverty exemptions. Any further discussion? Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call vote, please?
Jennifer Eden? Yes. Mike Cunningham?
Yes.
Kurt Schultz?
Yes.
Pam Loeffler? Yes.
Motion carries. Next is a request to release the PEG fund grants to the schools. The PEG fund, as we know, is something that's part of your cable bill. There's money set aside for local education. It can only be used on education. We've been participating with the FACT committee doing this for years. Each school puts in a request and it's used by audio, video equipment, etc. The consortium both is City of Fenton, Fenton Township, Tyrone Township, and the City of Linden. And it's divvied up by population. There's total funding for $138,558, with our portion being $30,992. We have plenty of money in our PEG fund. So, any questions, comments, or concerns? Being none, I'll entertain a resolution.
So moved.
Do we have support?
Support.
It's been resolved and supported to approve the PEG fund grant requests. Any further discussion? Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call vote, please?
Yes, you may. Do we need a roll call vote for that?
No.
For a resolution, it's just a vote. Voting to do it. Do we just approve it?
Yeah, I think we can do it just by regular.
As long as we approve it, right?
Yeah, as long as it's approved, I don't think it needs to be a resolution. Okay. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries. Next is the request of the Historical Society for a farm hop event. What they've got is an event where residents and citizens can come take a tour of Tyrone Township. They're going to go to a few different farms. They're going to, I'm not sure if it starts here, but they're going to be here in our parking lot for a short amount of time. They're not really setting much of anything up, maybe a check-in station or something. I don't think they're having access to the building, so I don't see any problems with it. Actually, I think it's a great idea. It's nice to see that the Historical Society is doing all these events for our community lately. This one's a new one, so we'll see how that one goes.
So it's tentatively for October 7th?
Correct.
And that doesn't interfere with elections? No.
No.
No, it's on a Saturday.
Move we approve.
I'll support.
Been motion and supported to approve the Historical Society's request for the farm hop event. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? That motion carries. Next is appointment of Chet Schultz as a ZBA alternative. Chet was formerly on our planning commission, and he resigned due to work schedule, and then 2 weeks after he resigned from the planning commission, he got a promotion within the company. He doesn't have to work at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. So he asked if there was anything available. And I said, yeah, I can slide you in as an alternate for the ZBA. And he said, yeah, he would love to do it. And so he already has knowledge of the zoning ordinance. And he's a pretty good participant. So I'd like to make a motion that we appoint Chet Schultz to the ZBA as an alternate.
Support.
It's been motioned and supported to appoint Chet Schultz to the ZBA as an alternate. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
I think
Aye.
he only made the motion, or did you make the motion?
I made the motion.
Oh, you made the motion, okay, sorry.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion carries. Next is the 2023-2024 budget discussion. I think we already have everything hashed out. Is there anything that we missed or need to talk about, or before we finalize it for budget presentation for our first meeting next month? The only thing that I might want to do is I asked for $75,000 for this well, and I've already obtained the easement for it. It's going to be off Fenton Road and Alcoy. I'm not going to have to pay any money to get an easement, but I'd like to bump that budget up another $10,000 just so I don't have to come back. And I still think it's going to be under 75, but I'm not 100% sure because everything's skyrocketing, and I don't want to have to come back and do a budget amendment on it.
So that brings it up to 85.
Right. So the budget line amount would be 85. But yeah, I talked to the fire department about it, and he was extremely happy. So.
Residents should be too.
Oh, absolutely. Well, if you're
Out in the woods.
you're out in the boonies out there, and you know there's no fire department close by. There's no hydrants by. This will give you the flow of a fire hydrant, and it's right there. It could save somebody's structure.
Right.
If it saves one house from a total burn, it pays for itself.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll go ahead and add that into the budget, but I can't think of anything else unless you guys have anything else.
Is there anything we would have to do for maintenance on that during the year?
It's just a
It's just a capped well.
it's just a well. All it is just a high velocity, high volume well that fills up a fire truck.
So there,
Dig a well.
And if it's any, if they have to, just go down and test it, the fire truck will do that. They'll take care of all that. What it literally entails is that they drill a well, there's a well pump, and there's an electrical panel. Just so happens to be the property that's at, there's a service and a pole right there. So it should be relatively inexpensive to hook it up. All worked out pretty good. All right, so nothing else for new business, nothing for miscellaneous business. Next one's public remarks. Any public comment remarks? No, go ahead, Scott.
One thing I don't like is this seat. I don't want the back of our back of our head seat to the camera. So it'd be nice if we can get them here.
Excuse me, Ms. Ropetta, please take your seat.
Yeah, I'm just filming for the audio.
I'm going to ask
Recording
you one more
anybody's
time to please take your seat. You can film from back there.
Just look at these pictures.
Otherwise, we can go back to the regular thing and I'll make you go to the back and film.
Who am I, am I obstructing here so that they can see online? Your audio's horrible, this audio's much better, but at least you can see people's
I'm not going to
mouths moving.
explain this. I'm going to ask you one more time to take a seat.
I'm not big into it, but I don't think anybody wants to appreciate the camera getting the back of their heads. So we should, remember, I mean, in other communities, where you have some things, I don't want to get in a fight with you, it would be more respectful for us to be facing someone with a camera. So anyways, those pictures, I'll explain in a minute. All right, I'm here.
What part of please take a seat did not?
So anyways, I'm here in regards to the last public hearing we had. It was on the Peabody.
Hang on a second.
Okay, go ahead.
Now you're interfering with the file exit.
I'm not.
Please go back to your seat, or you can leave the room.
I'm over here, I'm out of the way. There's 5 people in the audience.
I have asked you very politely to take a seat.
Anyways,
Thank you.
getting back to this public hearing, I was very disappointed because it was a good public hearing. And I think there's a lot of expression on what was going to be taking place at the ice climbing event. And I think the township made it very clear it wasn't approved yet, but the planning commission made it very clear that we were told certain things were going to be happening. And boy, nothing was approved. It was just a preliminary approval, and then an advertisement went out. And it's like business as usual. And I went through the video, kid, because I remember all the stuff. They asked for ice climbing in a gym. And I remember they said there was going to be no music. And they were told no alcohol. And he said, no, there was going to be no alcohol. Garrett says there's going to be a crowd size of 100 per day max, if you on any given day, including spectators. There's 16 ropes. Climbers are scheduled at 30 at a time. 4-hour sessions. Okay. Gym would be 13 people a week, he said he gets it the most. Family member quoted Garrett, he says he can't deal with mass at one time, mass of people. Already big enough, that's what her comment was. 7, don't need to advertise. I'm big enough, but the advertisement still went out. Garrett also said this is not going to be a big traffic thing. Board recommendations, copy of insurance, health department approval. And there was, I think Kurt, you were the one that said there was going to be, not to be any alcohol while these activities happen. John also informed Garrett that if you go on with without being approved, it could affect you in the future being approved. And John even said, we don't want this to be like a fair, like a big event. Trying that all these things haven't been approved. That picture there, no one was against it. I mean, I'm just here for the public safety. I live 2 miles away, and I'm concerned about the traffic coming in. So anyways, there's no ice over there. There's no climbing. I went over and took pictures. You see them. I ain't been over to a while. I used to hunt over to Steve's. And Steve and I are good friends. You guys are well aware of that. Grew up with Steve. That structure, I've never seen such a cobbled up piece of crap in my life. And it's been there for years. And I think we've got a lot of issues. A lot of issues. And this is advertised. And I think he's going to go on with what he did before. And he was told he's got to conform. And he promises he's going to go a different way, which I'm all happy for, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. But that structure there, I would definitely get an engineer to look at that structure. It's cobbled up, woods going across, fencing. You got tons of ice. You go over there now, there's 3-4 foot ice. You can see it from Steve's driveway, where it's all coming. I've looked at some videos today of ice climbing, where these guys are, there's actually just tons of ice coming out. They actually get it fixed and loosens ice up. And that structure there, I don't think, it was nice when they had a hobby, but I can see right now where it's going to 16 ropes. I don't know how 16 ropes with people and all that ice, that structure is going to hold up. If somebody's down below, we got to worry about the safety of the community. So, like I said, I'm very disappointed. I'm not going to get him. I know he's here. I don't want to get back for it. I have nothing against him. But I just feel like we were lied to. It's not what we presented. So, I know you guys got a hold of them after we reported it. I think it's a disappointment. And I think a stern, hey, this can't go on, should be said. I mean, you told us what you were gonna do, and people were happy with that. And no one griped. So I appreciate your help, guys.
Public comment, anyone else?
Yes.
I don't want, we can't back and forth. You don't tell me nothing.
Guys, please.
I didn't tell you your customers.
Okay. First of all, I want to say too that I was at that planning commission meeting, and I think it's a great business. I was excited to hear about it. I said, hey, let me do some advertising for you. I thought it was great. So I'm not here against Garrett, Peabody's, or anything, but I am here because what's going on here is not being consistent to the people. And so I'll just read my talking points here so that people know they're possibly listening in. On December 13th, Planning Commission public hearing was held for the Peabody Ice Climbing application for special land use and a site plan. By the end of the meeting, the Planning Commission granted approval based on Peabody's written proposal and their responses to the questions. The Planning Commission sent that proposal to you, the board, and it included certain conditions that had to be met. That was 2.5 months ago. Since the public hearing, an ad began circulating on Facebook for an event that Peabody's holding Saturday. This ad is also on their website, but when questioned at the public hearing, Peabody said they would not be holding these types of events with large crowds, serving alcohol, running overnight, etc. More than that, this business has never been approved to operate in the first place. And that's why you guys contacted them. He said that at the meeting in November. So even if you were to approve their proposal tonight, this type of event is not part of their proposal request. So on January 10th, 23, 6 weeks ago, this issue was brought to the Planning Commission's attention. And you were there, Kurt, you knew, you guys were even talking about it before we got in there. So nothing was done. On January 10th, 6 weeks ago, this issue, on January 17th, 5 weeks ago, the board had a meeting. This issue was brought to your attention. And Mike, you nodded, you listened, you heard. You heard everything that was brought up. You were informed and you should have addressed it. We fully expected to see the ice climbing proposal on tonight's agenda, which you released 5 days ago. It was not. So on that same day, I sent you an email with all the board copied, the planning chairman and the director of planning and zoning, and I asked that this topic be added to tonight's agenda. And just remember, all we know is that it was approved at the planning commission and sent to the board for approval 2.5 months ago. I did not receive a response to my mail. Why?
Public comment.
Okay, so he tells us to reach out to him by email and never hear anything back. Why hasn't the board, these are the questions we have, why haven't they publicly reviewed this proposal sent to you 2.5 months ago by the Planning Commission? Number two, why haven't you addressed the concerns about this event that were brought to you, the board, and to the Planning Commission? Number three, why aren't you shutting down this event, especially since they're not approved to operate? The public has a right to know, why do we have a Planning Commission? Why do we have ordinances, rules, laws, if some businesses don't have to follow them? Why is the township allowing this business to operate, specifically to hold this event? And why has the board dragged their feet on this, canceling 3 meetings, saying that there's no new business, and this proposal has been sitting out there? The situation sends an obvious message to the community. Just go ahead and do whatever you want to do. The board
Please
will
wrap
just
it up.
ignore, what you're doing. In the past, I've got one more paragraph. In the past, there's been many businesses denied approval by the board, or they've been delayed for months as they try to meet all of the township's requirements. As this issue becomes public, I won't be surprised if some of those businesses come with lawsuits, and rightfully they should. That's exactly what you're opening us up to when you don't apply the law and you don't apply it fairly to everyone. And the little reprimand that you gave me over there, and you're reprimanding people for
You're
talking
done.
back there,
You're done. Come.
we'll review the tapes. Oh, yes, I will.
Anyone else? If there's none, I'll entertain the motion to adjourn.
So,
It's been motioned and supported to adjourn our meeting. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries. Meeting's adjourned.
get away from me. Don't threaten me. Don't threaten me, man. Don't threaten me. You're in a public. You come up here and threaten me? You just threatened me. You want to threaten me? Don't threaten me, man. You came to me. I was in the garbage can.
Gentlemen,
Tell me to get the hell out of my face. Get out. You don't threaten me. I didn't talk to your customer. I have right to talk to anybody I want. I can bring anything I want. It's a free country, buddy. Don't intimidate me. I'm a big man. You ain't big enough to take me. I'm 65 and I can hold my own. So whenever you're ready, don't come after me again. Because I'll put your ass down.